Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session where we are going to talk about how do we do effective and engaging retrospective meeting. So you know that the retrospective meeting is one of the crucial, Scrum events, and this can break or make the team, right? And the impactful meeting is directly proportional to how engaged, everybody is in the meeting, right? How do you uh, regulate the meeting, okay? And also what type of output you have planned, throughout the meeting, and how do you do the follow up on action items, right? All these factors matter a lot for a retrospective meeting, right? So we have discussed a lot during our training sessions, but let's hear from people who got placed, last year after my training, and they have been doing as Scrum Masters. They have been working as Scrum Masters for more than a year now. Okay, and we will hear from them and see how they have done it, and then I will also add on to what they will be adding. All right. So let's first hear from Lavina.
Thanks, Balram. Hey, hi everyone. It's been almost 1.5 years now since I'm working as a Scrum Master. Post I did my training with Balram. So initially, when I joined the company, it was difficult to create that bond with the team until and unless I had that rapport with the team, that trust. It was difficult to get points from the team. So initially, I started with the normal retrospection that we used to do, what went well, what didn't go well. But every single time, I tried to bring a new format of retrospection. So team started looking forward to it. Until and unless there was some output that they started seeing coming out from the retrospection, there was not much participation. So gradually, I tried and tested a lot of methods, and recently I came up with skip level retrospections, wherein managers are not a part of it, and also anonymous retrospections I have done, in which retrospection I also saw that teams started coming up with more pointers now because they don't need to bother about that our name will be highlighted. So they were coming up openly in the retrospections. And then there was one issue that I faced, that not everyone was being engaged in the retrospection, although they were spending more than 1 hour in the meeting, but not all of them were being engaged in the retrospection. So then when I came up with one of the tool called Retrium, wherein I have tried one exercise with them, and the results were very amazing. Maybe your team can also try that. It's a free tool for a month. So in Retrium, you can actually see how many people are on the board, whether everyone is responding to the queries to the exercise or not. If someone is not participating, you can highlight that uh, like then and there itself. So Retrium is kind of a collaboration tool that you can say, like Lucid, Miro, Mural, you must have heard. So that's how I have evolved the retrospection, and every time I just try to bring something new on the table, so team looks forward to it. And now, since a good rapport and trust has been created, team is now well able to come up with the points. Not just that, I also ensure that whatever items are being discussed in the meeting, some action points are being come up with in every retrospection. So for action items tracking, earlier we used to do a separate meeting wherein we used to get in touch with each member, asking where are we with that action item. So what I did is I created a format for that, wherein against each action item we highlighted an owner who would be responsible to clear out that action item from that particular sheet. And that person, if needed any collaboration or facilitation from my side, I am helping them in that also. And then we are mentioning an end date to that action item, which we are trying to target. Say in a month or two, we are trying to target to close that action item. And at the end, there is a RESI metric that we use. So that talks about resolve mitigated or owned. So there is one no, that's a Rome matrix that I'm talking about. Yes, resolved, owned, mitigated, and accepted. So this is a metric with which we mark the status of against each action item. When teams started seeing that yes, the points that they are saying, mentioning are being heard, that it is acted upon, and the problems are actually being resolved, they started coming up more openly in the retrospection. So this is how the journey has been evolved, and I guess team is doing pretty much better now in the retrospections.
All right. Thanks, Lavina.
Yeah.
So, any questions for Lavina?
Yeah, I just want to make a note of
What?
the tools which she told. One is
She will share it in the group. Don't worry. Okay,
okay,
Lavina,
all
you
right.
can share the links.
So
Okay. All right. So, any questions for her directly? Okay. Now, who wants to go next? Swati, do you want to share your experience of conducting a retro meeting?
Uh,
Are you there?
yes, Ram. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, yes. Can you hear me now? I
Yes,
think,
yes, yes.
yeah. So when it comes to retrospective, the first thing what the team needs to know is the Scrum team itself is a cohesive group. We all work with a common motive, with a common objective. That is the trust we need to get it within the team. That is the spirit. So, being apart and being one among them is the first thing which I feel the Retro's basic criteria should be. So, understanding their level of what their achievements are, where are they good at, and where they need the improvement should be done, and what inputs they are giving with respect to the team's performance or their project's performance. So that is the major thing what I feel in the retro should be discussed more. So when it comes to my team, so it starts with the like well-being question, like that makes people feel little give that comfy level so that they can come up being after all nobody is like here we all are human beings and yeah colleagues here. So that's the first thing what I look at. And then we have about where we share our own ideas of what changes and improvements that can be brought in. So we will discuss all those and we'll come up with the action items. But so far, so good. My team never was reluctant or into any of the conflicts or issues that okay, I have provided these inputs, it's not followed and all. It all depends on the team and how you groom them within the system. That is the main thing or type thing. So those kind of decisions were taking it from each and everyone on improving the process and yeah, accepting and yeah, mobilizing those inputs in the process is the main key. That's what I feel, and it worked well. Yeah. So being one among them makes me like get the yeah action items done with a more improved process. And that is my input from my end.
Okay. Thank you, Swati. Thanks for the inputs. And yes, becoming one, among the team members is the key. And how do you do is, the trick, right? So there will be a lot of pushback otherwise. All right. Now, anybody else who wants to share their experience? Yes, Vijaya, you want to do Dharma, Vineet. So this is the opportunity to speak up.
Yeah, Balram.
Yes.
I can just share my few of my experience. how I conducted my retro. I'm quite new though. It's been just four plus months that I've been working as a Scrum Master. So it is mostly it is the standard thing that I follow while conducting the retro. We use a sheet, smart sheet, wherein we track all the retro activities from the beginning of the quarter, and during every meeting before we start the meeting, I ask everyone to update their inputs on the retro, so that once we get into the retro, we can directly, without any wasting of time, we can directly hop onto it and start discussing on it. And mainly, the discussion would revolve around uh, what is it that we should start doing, and what is it that we need to stop doing and continue doing. These are the three key things that we look at, and we talk on the same lines. And other things that we look at over here is, once the issue has been raised, how is it that we can improve a particular thing? And this is something we look at. And what is it that we need to start doing so that we can accomplish that particular task is what we discuss in the retro. So typically, we once we have this retro would be going, we'll be jotting down all the points sprint wise. So basically, we start up with the current retro activities that we have noted over there, and then after completion, as it is for 30 minutes, if we have time, we'll be looking at the past retro actions or retro activities. Where do they stand, and how far are we with those tasks that we have already noted, that we just like a review on those one, we look at them as well. And yeah, again, as I mean, someone was speaking uh, before me. Uh, yes, we also assign the retro activities based on RACI, who is responsible and who is accountable, who is need to be communicated, and whom needs to be informed. These are something that we look at, and we assign the task accordingly. And we have a drop dead date for completing those activities. And yes, we follow up. We need to track them as well, and we make sure that before the deadline we have them addressed. This is something I'm doing currently.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Vinith. Anybody else? Purna, have you done your retro? The first retro or second retro?
Hi Ram, hi everyone. Yes, Ram, I did it. Even though it's been a couple of months, I did that retro, but my retro was very easy as I'm following ADO boards. It is already predefined there. The board is there. It's already in a predefined. What I need to do is I need to add the pages. What went well, what didn't go well, and what are the action items. Now, this I had to create for every team as I'm following, almost I'm maintaining 7 teams. So for every team, I have to create the retro board. Then I have to invite everyone into the meeting. Then, I'll ask them to type, put the input. I have to, I ask them to, put it input like, what went well, what did not go well, and what action items, they are expecting. So they start writing it, but I can proudly say that in my team, there are no much spillovers. There are no much which didn't go well. Okay, most of the items are went well, and very limited didn't go well items, and then action items are very limited. I can say in every retrospective, one, most probably one or null. That is what my retro, how that what goes. And my team, my I'm sorry, my call, all goes as like talking to the people, and I'm appreciating the people. That's it. There is no other discussions went on till now. Maybe I'll experience some new things in the future, but this is what I'm following, Ram.
All right. Okay. So Rajshekar, you're not able to hear. Mm, can you try to rejoin? Not sure what is the reason, but others are able to hear. Check the mic setting at your end. Okay, anybody else who wants to share their experience of conducting a retro meeting? Okay, if nobody is there, then I will add few things. Firstly, thanks for sharing the inputs, people, whoever is working here, and we had Purna, Vineet, Swati, and Lavina speaking up. Okay, appreciate you taking out time for that. Now, there are two aspects of this discussion. One is effective retro meeting and engaging retrospective meeting. So effectiveness can be brought to the discussion by keeping things in tight schedule. When I say tight schedule, you have a follow up activity. The progress is to be reported to the team. That gives the team enough confidence on, yes, our scrum master is tracking down our issues and he is reporting back the status, and he is religiously doing it. So when that confidence is built, okay, automatically people will start coming up with their challenges, right? If you simply make a note of issues and again start the discussion on new set of things, disregarding what was discussed earlier, then that is not going to form an effective way of doing the retrospective meeting. Then how do we get people to write down things, right? Firstly, if you best practice is, do not send the retrospective meeting invite one day in advance. Okay, keep a recurring schedule for retrospective meeting. If you are doing it on the last day, I would say do it on the last day, in the beginning of the day, on the last day of the sprint. The reason is, all the ideas, all the challenges the team has gone through in the sprint will be fresh in their mind, and they will not lose out those things, and they will write it effectively. Now when you do it, that is one, that is one advantage. Now how do you send the recurring meeting? People need not really wait for a retro meeting and a retro board to be shared for them to write down the things. Okay, they should have the invite with them all the time. Okay, you can create a idea board link, or you can create a Retrium link, or you can use any tool. Even a Confluence page is also good enough. Okay, now when you share the retrospective meeting for each sprint in advance for at least 2 to 3 sprints, or at least one sprint advance, on the day the sprint starts, send out the invite for retro meeting also, because the challenges encountered by the team which they want to discuss in retrospective meeting can be jotted down by the team members. This is one of the best practices that you can do. Okay, people can start following this, right? And then tracking the dependencies, not the dependencies, tracking the items that were taken up as action items, and then what is the progress. If a particular issue is reported, what is the action around it? How did you try to resolve that? How did you close that particular action item? As a scrum master, it is your accountability to discuss the progress, right? And then getting people to talk is the biggest challenge. Let me know if you disagree, right? So all the working SMs can write, I agree or I disagree, if you feel this is not right statement. But getting people to talk in a retrospective meeting is the biggest challenge, right? So that's where your engaging retrospective meeting should happen. How do you engage people when they are not willing to talk? Do some activity. So I always ensure that my retro meeting does not happen with regular mode. Rather, I would first conduct a quiz competition. Okay, I pull out some interesting list of questions, then ask people to what check their answers on that, right? And another best way is to get them on a on a video call. Give me a minute, guys. sorry. So uh, asking the entire, all the team members to come on video call is one best way to engage them, right? There are instances of people who will simply join the meeting and they will type BRB and they will never come back. And sometimes you will not know if they if they are on the system or they have walked sorry, if they have walked away from the system to pick up some water or coffee or whatever they want. So how do you make sure? Of course, there are few boards. Okay, if they are not active, then it might show, but that will again become kind of micromanaging. So asking people to come on camera is one thing, right? And then other thing is the first thing that I have written here, right? I'll share few ideas around how you can make it more engaging. So recently, I conducted a retro meeting. I keep conducting a lot of good retro meetings where people even non-talkative people also talk. So how do you do that? Um, Conduct a game where person has to speak or say one word about their personality. Let's say, for example, okay, um, let me ask Vinith. So Vinith, if you have to describe your personality, can you tell me one word that describes your personality? Any word.
Fun.
Fun, right? Now Vinith has said fun. Now Vinith has to give an example of why does he think the word fun represents his personality. Can he share some moments where,
You know very well. Many of
right? So that's how you start getting people engaged to talk, right? So there was a case where one of my teammates said secret. That represents his personality. So what are the secret things he has done? He had to share. You're getting my point? Then one guy came up with the idea of simple, and he ended up saying that his wife always fights with him because he is so simple. Right? You're getting this idea now. So this can be one simple game that will heavily engage people, and they come up with lot of ideas. Right? You can conduct games called oozles. I'm not sure how many of you know it. I'll share one PDF with a lot of oozles, and we will do one activity, in one of our support sessions. So the oozles are tricky words with hidden meaning. Okay, you can find them on Google also, but still I will share a PDF on the same. Right. Then you can conduct fun games as in they can form some expressions. You say a word and they will form an expression, right? Or talk about the memorable moments. Now, you might even think these are very simple things which may not engage audience, but entire engagement activity is to be carried out by you, right? So there might be people who will be resistant. You need not push them too much. Okay, create a lighter moment where naturally people start speaking, right? And that will add up more, momentum in the discussion. Okay, you can simply bring up an idea of who climbed the mountain sorry, Mount Everest for the first time, right? Which team has won the World Cup highest times, or where was the first cricket World Cup held? Anything that you feel the majority of the team members are interested in, right? And more you know about everybody in the team, more easy for you it becomes to conduct the retro meeting, right? Therefore it is recommended when you do one-to-one meeting, when you become a part of the team, when you become a part of the Scrum team, have the 10 to 15 minutes of one-to-one discussion with each team member. Get to know their native places, their interest, their hobbies, right? What they have studied, what is their career aspiration, just basic things, right? So if somebody is good at guitar, probably you can ask them to engage in some activity that is related to playing the guitar. So more you are aware of your your team dynamics, and the hobbies of your team members, better it becomes for you to engage them. Okay. And there is no set rule as such. Retrospective meeting, the idea of retrospective meeting is to encourage the team members, okay, keep things on track, okay, keep improving, focus on continuous improvement, and then adaptation, right? What are the improvement areas that you have to identify and keep tracking them in the form of action items, and closing the loop by closing the action items that are open. All right. So these are some interesting factors that you can engage. And this one word personality game has beautifully worked, and many of the teams keep they have started practicing this after I introduced this idea to our train level, and this is becoming more popular. So do this, try this, and I'm sure you will see a lot of changes. Okay. Any questions or any challenges that you might want to discuss while you attempted for a effective retro? Or Anup, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just that Ram, everyone whosoever just spoke, if they can post the links or the perfect names in the group, that would be great. Because
Yes,
I'm
yes,
going to start my Scrum Master journey very shortly. So it would be
yes,
really
yes.
helpful for me.
Sure, sure. When is the joining?
I'm just negotiating on that. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay. So, Lavina, you can post the links in our WhatsApp group, and people can use
Sure,
it.
Balram.
Okay, so I hope this was useful discussion for most of the folks.
Yes, Ram. Yes, Ram.
Yes, no, good.
Yes,
So
Ram.
I would strongly encourage you to get people talking. Okay, that is the key, and becoming a part of the team is also one of the key thing. Right? There might be cases where people will say, "I am not aware of something," or "I am not responsible," for so and so thing. As a Scrum Master, put a question to the entire team, guys. This situation is now becoming a blocker for us. How do you think we can solve it? Okay, do not ask anybody how do you how how should I solve it, or how will you solve it. Say, how can we solve it? The word we is going to play extremely good role there, right? It is an inclusive approach, and people feel a part of the team. Okay, and you also become more popular because of your approachability, and people centricity is the key here, right? More you are um, if you are more people centric person, the natural attention to Scrum Master will come from everybody. Okay, so people can end up doing more work when you appreciate for good things in retrospective meeting. And it should start with appreciation, then it should be engaged with what are the things that have not gone well, and then how can we improvise. That should be the last part of the retro meeting. And one tip that you should take away is, either you send out the retrospective meeting for all the sprints in advance by creating a recurring occurrence in your invite, or at least send an invite for retrospective meeting in the beginning in the beginning of the sprint. That will actually reduce a lot of burden. Otherwise, teams might come back saying that you just sent a retrospective meeting yesterday, and you hardly gave us a 1 day time to think and write what we need to write. So how do you think we can collect our ideas, collect our things in just such a short span of time? This can be a complaint from the team members. Okay, so if you otherwise send it in the beginning of the sprint, if if people are not writing anything, you can always, you can always, make it a point. Either they don't have a problem, right, or they are not prioritizing on reporting the problem in a retrospective meeting. Okay, cool. Okay, so with that,
Ram, I have a question here.
yeah, go ahead.
So suppose on 8th day I have completed my sprint review with my stakeholders, and I have just 2 days left. And on those 2 days, mostly majority of the team members are on leave. So still I conduct the retrospective, or I
No,
skip that.
no. You should always try to check the availability of all the team members or maximum team members. So let's
But
say
again,
if
okay, please go ahead.
see, what is the point of conducting a retrospective meeting when majority of the people are not available,
Correct.
right? So see, schedule should always be there. I'm sorry. It does not mean that you will blindly follow that schedule regardless of the availability of the team members, right? You should again
Okay.
reschedule the meeting to a date where availability is there from everybody in the team. If not everybody, at least, 1-2 people going on PTO for a team of 10 to 11 people should be fine. At least with 8-9 people, you can start the discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
So that means that we can do the retrospective of sprint 1 and sprint 2 also. I mean, after the sprint 2 starts, we can do the retro of the sprint 1, is it?
Yes, we can do that also.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, see, if the rule says that you have to do the retrospective meeting within the sprint, what if the situation that you discussed comes up? There is
Yeah,
no way
that's
you
what I
can do it,
mean.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to make time in the next sprint for the previously completed, sprint retro.
Okay. So once the next sprint starts, we can just look for
Schedule the
the
call.
availability of everyone. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
schedule the call, check the availability, and ask the teams to join and get started.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
And always, I would strongly encourage people to, use Confluence page, because whenever you use these external tools, right, most of your team members may not have access, and retaining them will be a big challenge, right? There might be a case where people, your manager can one fine day come and he might ask you, hey, can you tell me what all the things you have done, through retrospective meetings in last, 10 sprints? How do you get the data of 10 sprints? Where do you get it? On first sprint, maybe you used Retrium. Then after fourth sprint, Retrium access is gone. You can't again, register because it is a free version. Then again, you will go for another tool. You will again use another tool. But what is the point? If you are using a tool, all that, all the information that is captured in the tool should be migrated to Confluence page. Sorry. Okay, Priyanka is talking. Yes, Priyanka, you have a question? Okay. All right. So use Confluence, because you can simply copy the link, Confluence link, and give it to your uh, manager, and he might take it forward. And you can keep on recording the details of each retrospective meeting for all the sprints. Okay.
So on the same lines, we actually use a smart sheet, Balram. That
Okay.
is for the entire company, all the Scrum teams. So they will
They
be
have a
updating the
dedicated
same.
sheet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a dedicated sheet,
Only for
wherein
retros.
only for retros. That's just for
Okay.
retros. All teams
Okay.
included in it. So, and this is as this is not a one day activity. We always keep encouraging the team members then and where they get any sort that needs to be documented in retro, they can go ahead and use the link and update it over there. And once the
Correct.
retro meeting starts, we can start discussing on it.
Right. They can update as
Yeah.
and when they get the time, and the discussion can
This is a
happen.
continuous process. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, Vinit,
It's good. Okay, if such smart sheet is maintained, and it
Yeah.
will have the historical data. You don't have to depend on any Confluence page in that case.
That's right. And you were telling me correct regarding your managers asking about this thing, because tomorrow I have a meeting on this with my manager. So the ask is to collect the inputs which will be useful for the PI.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering how can the retro items would be,
Ask
it
him
could be
when he
different.
says input. When he says input, okay, ask the
Mm-hmm.
information for which will be inputs that are needed for PI planning. Then ask him what does he mean by input here, and what information he is seeking.
That which can be used in the PI current PI planning.
The only PTO details you can take,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
all the epic level readiness information,
Yeah.
right? And that will anyway come, right?
Yeah.
So
Ram,
what other inputs?
sorry to interrupt you,
One.
Vineet and
Go ahead.
Ram. I'm a little
Yeah.
bit confused, on your discussion. What do we do with this, with retro data? How it is useful in PI plannings?
No, PI. This is not useful for PI planning.
Yeah.
Okay, this is useful for defending your case
Yeah.
when your management comes and tells you have not done anything.
Yeah. That's okay. That's I agree that,
Okay,
but
on PI
when you
planning,
people are, yeah,
on PI planning, absolutely nothing to do
yeah, nothing to do.
unless
And
unless you have unless you want to suggest, right? Let's say
Mm,
there were cases in PI planning where uh, some of the epics which were not ready, okay, and they were pushed to be taken up by the team members, and funding was also not available. Still, epics were taken up, only to realize that after the first sprint, those epics were dropped because they were not ready with the requirements, and funding was also not approved. Okay, now what happened here? Your team engaged for one sprint, and only to realize that they have put the effort, and they simply, all that effort gone in vain because the work did not continue. Right? Your retrospective meeting, okay, related points can come for a discussion, because even a PI level retro will also happen.
correct. Yeah, I was coming to
Okay,
that. Yeah.
yeah, even PI level retro will also happen, and you can bring up all these points in PI retro, because PI retro is nothing but a collective data points of all the sprints that have that have added to the discussion of a retrospective meeting. Okay, so you can defend your case saying that last time this is what happened, and this time we don't want to encourage our team to take up any epic that is not ready and that is not funded. Why do we do that? We have seen the case. Rather, we take something more you know uh, value adding work which is funded and which is appropriate for the team, where team also feels little motivated. You can put forward the factors like, if team is working on something and team realizes that what they have worked is moved into dustbins, so it will kind of demotivate the team, right? Again, they have to redo everything, either from the scratch, or they have to engage themselves in a new work. So it does not add more value. These points you can always bring up. So this will again push back the leadership team to think in terms of not moving the epics to the PI, okay, or not commit anything on on epics to the business unless epics are fully funded and fully ready with the requirements. Okay, Purna?
got that. And I would like to ask Vineet. Vineet, are you using any tools, Confluence or any other one?
Uh, for capturing this retro, we are using Smartsheet. That is the one. I mean, that is we even use the same thing for managing cross team dependencies and other things. This most of our WSR would be we would be using that Smartsheet.
Okay, and hope you are working on Jira.
Correct.
Got that. Yeah, thank you very much, Vineet.
Yep, no problem.
All right.
And last thing, sorry for
Go
taking
ahead. Go
time.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, regarding the retro items, so we have a column, Balram, wherein we need to select like ongoing, completed, implemented, etc. Okay. So now few of the retro items which would always be ongoing, right? Can we
Hmm.
say the
Hmm.
completed example? So we should be keeping that ongoing in the same manner,
What's the
right?
example you can give?
Example, say, see, we shouldn't be taking in two cross-team dependency tickets in one sprint
Hmm.
because that will be again there is obviously a chance of spillover, right? We
Hmm.
don't take
Hmm.
two cross-team dependencies, which was done previously, which we identified and stopped
Hmm.
doing
Ha.
that. But
Correct.
now that is a continuous action which needs to be happening on sprint on sprint, right?
No, if you're not taking
No,
it in the next sprint,
ah,
okay.
okay,
If you're not taking on any such item, any such story which has cross team or cross train dependencies, then
okay.
you are getting away with that practice, right? Last sprint it happened, and you discussed in the retro meeting what should be improved, and it can be a part of what can improve in the team, and the improvement area is you are not committing to such dependencies.
So now
Okay,
we
you are
call it implemented or completed.
we can
Implemented.
no, we can call it as completed. Okay, you can
Yeah,
take it.
completed. Okay.
Yes, it can be completed. Now implemented is a new practice that you are going to make it a part of recurring practice. If you are making, let's say for example, daily stand up. Okay, there is a proposal from the onshore. You have two teams, onshore team and offshore team. So
Mhm.
proposal is that onshore team wants the daily stand up in the beginning, and offshore wants it in the evening, right?
We have to.
Now the proposal is do two daily stand up with
Mhm. Same.
onshore and offshore teams. Now there are two challenges with that, right?
Mhm.
One is uh, it will disengage the discussions that are happening in offshore timing from the folks of onshore, and vice versa, right? What do
Mhm.
you do there? So you have to create an acceptance from everybody. If you want, okay, if we want to be more effective in our work, if you want to be more um, productive with your work, then we have to dedicate additional 15 minutes. Take it
Mhm.
as an productive activity. So we will do session 1 and session 2 for them and for these people. And probably you need not really spend 15 minutes if onshore team members are fewer in number. Probably in 10 minutes you can close out the meeting. But everybody should be joining. Okay, all the folks from all the time zones should be joining the sessions in the evening, because morning people may not join because the timings may not work, but in the evening it ideally works for most of the teams, right? So such practices, once taken up, can be stated as implemented,
Okay.
because
Now I
once you
understand.
implement it, it is a continuous process.
Yeah, I've gone through
Mm.
the same, what you said, I did exactly, because, I
Mm,
have, multiple teams, Ram. So a
mm,
few are
mm,
from, USA, and from few are from India, and
mm,
on-site and, offshore teams. So what I did,
okay.
before me, it was, not collaborated. Before me,
Mm,
they are doing on their own timings, on their own way. But, once I joined, what I changed this DSC call to 7 o'clock in the evening. 7 o'clock, the offshore team will log out. So
mm,
before their log out, I've scheduled this call. So 7 o'clock, onshore team will also log in at the same time. So I've
right.
collaborated both the times. I found that middle point, and I've scheduled the DSC call there itself. So everyone will be there in the call, and
Good.
we are peacefully completing that.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we are pretty good with with all the discussion. And if there are any questions, we will take around this retro meeting. And these kind of sessions, we will do it every week, at least 15 days. No, every 15 days, I'll try to plan one such effective effective discussion. and our support sessions will anyway continue. Okay.
Yes, Ram. You also
So
post the
thank you everybody
links
for
and
joining in, and yes, the links will be posted.
hello.
More links will be posted by Lavina in the WhatsApp
Okay.
group.
I have already
Okay.
shared.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you also
So
post, Ram. And next session, do it on sprint planning, Ram.
we will plan. We will plan. Okay. So one step at a time. Okay.
Okay.
Before you get started, you're planning to get ready with everything. I got it. So we will work on it.
Exactly.
Okay. we'll work on it. Okay. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining in, and appreciate the time from all the working Scrum Masters who contributed to the discussion. And I'm sure this discussion will add, to more effective and engaging retrospectives that you are going to do. Okay, so take the practices forward and start implementing them, and always try to encourage the team to do the best. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Ram.
So
Thank you
take
so
care,
much.
and
Thank
we
you.
will catch up again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, thanks for your time.
Bye,
Yeah.
team.
Bye.
Thanks, Ram.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.